Greetings, Earthlings! My name is Zero Jake and welcome back to Space Engineers. Today we are going to be working on some more of the habitation area. Specifically, we're working on an airlock, of which you can dock a large-ish ship to, in which you will transfer over to the station and you can transfer power and equipment and things like that over. Basically, for large ships. These hangars are for small ships, the flight deck is for ships owned by the station, and then the ports along here are for large ships, and then down here the shipyard is going to be repairing large ships, because you're going to have to repair them at some point, or retrofit, or something like that. So the plan is we're going to have 4 airlocks, 2 on each side. As you can see, we have 6 sections, as I like to call them, or segments, and we're going to be using the middle one of a set of 3. So basically the second and the 5th, which means there are going to be 4 on each side. The reason why I'm not having like 12 airlocks is because we do not need that many. If we have more than 4 large like passenger cruisers, then they can just wait, can't they? Alternatively, I may end up creating teleport platforms or something, because I've been thinking instead of using grav tubes we might use teleporters, but I have to download that first. So anyway, we need to build some airlocks, and to do that we need, you know, a wall. Well, what I'm planning on is we have the airlock entrance to the station 1 block above the floor of the station, so like this. Yeah, so you have a floor here, and then we go over to control group 5. I need to add some stairs. And basically we're going to have stairs in the middle, so like 3 stairs that go here. Probably want to change the rotation of that. There we go. I need an interior plate. I did not expect that would need an interior plate. You don't have any, do you? No, of course you don't. Right, let's go get interior plate first. Yeah, so we're going to have a little... I don't know what the thing is. Alcove? No. It's called something. That's not enough. Let's throw away some of the steel that we have, like 200 of it. We don't need 200. Well, we don't need 200 additional steel to the stuff that we've already got. Right. Antechamber, that's what it's called. So we'll have ramps going up to an antechamber that sticks out of the area, and then in the antechamber there's going to be an airlock. This very, very useful airlock is actually 2-sided. So if I get this over here, so you've got airlock doors here, yeah, and then you've also got airlock doors here, and only one set will be open at a time. That's the cool bit about this, and it actually helps because then you don't need to create some really weird script. And then to be able to transfer people between the station and the ship, we use these, which is basically hollow merge blocks. It may look a bit bad, but this was the best that I could find to fit the situation. Right. What were we doing? We were placing ramps. So we want 3 ramps over here. And then we want to extend the wall, just using the second layer to show where the walls of this place are going to be. So if we extend it to here, yeah. So the antechamber will be 5 blocks long, which 5 times 25, so 12.5 meters. That's a pretty big antechamber. Though I am building things on an MMO kind of scale. It's hilarious how MMO structures are ridiculously large in comparison to the characters that you use. It's almost hilarious. Okay, so next thing we want is how big do we want it? 2 blocks high should be good enough. Two blocks high will be good enough. So if we have a 3rd layer over here, and then what I'm planning for the walls is we're also going to have windows on the walls so you can see outside, but not everywhere is going to have a window. I actually need to make it so the windows take up the entire block instead of just one side. Otherwise it's going to look from at least one angle. Unless we use ramps. No, slopes. Yes. Okay. That should be good. Let's go weld that using welder so I can see how well that actually looks, because if it looks terrible then we're going to have to change it before I make too many mistakes. Yeah, have interior plate, have steel plate. Hopefully this will be enough. It won't be enough, so let's get some more interior. Interior plate. Okay. There are like 3 access ports to the inventory of this ship. It's amazing. Okay, right, let's move. And not crashing into the place, because that would be pretty bad. We might replace this wall later with windows, but this is just proof of concept. Well, we can change the design of the walls later. So those should all be done. Yes? Ah, they also require construction components. Okay. Good thing I had that on hand. Okay. Everything above this line, the line that my cursor is currently on, or the crosshair is currently on, everything above this line is going to be just like the regular wall that we're going to use for all the other sections. Okay. Probably want to move out here since we're going to be welding out in this section now. We may actually end up having airlocks on all of the segments because they actually look kind of small. Okay. No, that's still far too big. Don't have any steel plate. Of course I don't have steel plate because it's all in here. Yeah, can I have... Oh, we have no steel plate. That's useful, I think. Probably not. Okay. So that's the area of the... well, that's the entrance to the antechamber. The antechamber will be about... We can make it too long. We'll substitute things for smoother edges in a second. So if we have it like this... Yeah. Then this will be the walled area, so this will be where the airlock is. So if we get number 5, 2, we want the airlock to be like this. Okay? You can see the airlock. It's got 2 sets of doors. One set is already in, one set is there. Very good. And then after the airlock we want a thing like this, even though I can't actually place it, which is kind of weird. So we'll need supporting blocks. No, instead of having these, we'll have corners. Slopes, I mean. Slopes, that's the right word. Okay. I know I'm being very inefficient. It would have been faster in another area, but there. So if we have that, and then here, we can place this. Yes. Okay. Now, the only question is, can we access this door from inside here? And we're also going to need to add a gravity generator, but we'll deal with gravity in a later date, in a later episode. Right, I'll go get resources, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, there we go. We have the airlock installed, and we should be able to move it. So we press T, this closes, yeah? Cool, huh? So we can't press this, or when we do, it will close this one, and then open this one. It does look a bit weird, because you can only see one side. So, for example, I'm coming in here, yeah, through the tube, and I want to enter this door. So you see this door is highlighted, and this one isn't. You press T on this door, closes, and then this door opens. See how easy that is? See? No complicated programming required. Which is very good because I don't want to have to learn the programming API for space engineers. Okay, so now that we've got the airlock bit done, we now need the connector, of which I already have it. Don't look for it. Telling myself off. So basically, we have a regular connector. So when the ships come into dock, we want them the correct way up. So therefore, all ships that I will create that use passenger transport systems, the Surveyor is going to go. We're going to create a Surveyor Mark II later. Yes, so we want connector and then merge block. Connector, merge block. Connector, merge block. Good. Okay, so... And then on ships we might have kind of a tube that extends, maybe. That might be a bit complicated because some ships... we'll do the design bit later. But yeah, so we want a connector here, and then behind it we want a conveyor, which should make it airtight. You have interior plate, don't you? Yes. I just need one for now. Thank you. Yeah, so we have a conveyor here, which I will flip to the right way around before I kill myself. Put this here as well. And then we might be able to weld all of this together at once. No, we don't have small steel tube. I will go get some small steel tube. In fact, no, I don't have any on my character. That's annoying. But yes, we are going to get rid of the Surveyor Mark I and replace it with a mining barge or something that will act as a surveyor and a mining ship at the same time. It will be larger. And it will be big. What do we want? Steel tube. There we go. Flying back, and then we will also have the conveyor on this side. What do you need? You need small steel tube as well. That's good. It's upside down on this side, but I don't care. People can read upside down, can't they? And then what we have is we just have a tube coming out here, going up there, and into the conveyor network at the top, in the ceiling. Because that's how things work these days. Or at least I'm led to believe that's how they work. Okay, that's good. Now we beautify it. And by beautify I mean we make it less edgy. So I'm going to need to deposit all of my small steel tube, because that is not necessary. I want as much steel plate as possible. No, I don't want as much steel plate as possible since I'm going to be grinding things down. 500. Thank you. Okay, so we want this one, and then we also want to go over to armor blocks, and then we have these, which are segments of a 2x1 sloped thing that looks better. It doesn't have connected textures. Well, it has broken connected textures for my version, but that might improve at some later point. And hey, the lag is back. Oh, this is going to be wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Thanks for doing that right in the middle of a YouTube video, you game. Or it might be my computer. My computer is dying currently, so I may want to hit save first. No, save. Yes, save progress. Thank you. I'll be back in a second once I fix the framing issues. This isn't actually framing issues because it's currently running at 60 frames per second, but whenever I move, it goes down to 2. I'll be back in a second. Okay, that's now dealt with. Now, where was I? Yes, okay, so we're going to beautify this entire thing, which means that we're going to use these 2x1x1 armor slopes, which I think look very good. They're basically like the ramps, except that you can have half of it, which is very useful. And then you also have corner variants, which I will need to pick up at some point. Let's get rid of you. Armor blocks. The corner variant would be this one, I believe. Yes. you, and you. So that makes kind of a corners thing. I like the style of this. Okay, I'll be back once I have beautified the airlock. There we go. Doesn't that look nicer? This is now the airlock. Huzzah. Only 5% of the entire structure is where you go in. The rest of it is just for style. So on the other side we have this kind of thing. I will probably change what these blocks look like because I have a need for style. I can't help myself. Okay, so I'm just gonna do myself forever by doing this. I have a problem. I'm a perfectionist, some might say, or I'm lazy other times, but whatever it is, I will strive to do what I can be bothered to do. Basically, throw this here, throw this here, throw a corner here, and throw a corner here. There we go, and then we want these. And then I should weld these back up again. See now, doesn't that look better? Calls out to you. It makes it seem bigger, which is the point. I wouldn't exactly agree with these, but never mind. I might change it later. And when I say later, I mean later. Okay, so we have the airlock done. We can probably fit that into a blueprint during creative mode. I just need to finish building this wall. And that should be good. I'm thinking we shall build airlocks all the way across. And if a ship takes up more slots, then that's fine, because then we still have tons of airlocks available for other ships. For example, ships that have airlocks on the front of their ship, ships that have airlocks on the left or right hand side, they can still dock. As long as they don't need a docking tube, because I'm not building those, they can build them themselves. Or they can, you know, send other ships to do their dirty work. Yeah, that looks kind of nice. Okay, that's good. I feel better now. My mind just blanked, which is not good. Anyway, we now have an airlock. We won't be able to test it yet because we need to build a ship that can actually do that, but we will do that later. When I've actually built a dozen airlocks, and then I'm just like, oh no, I need to fix it, and then I kill myself. As a figure of speech, not literally. That's a bad thing if I killed myself literally. It is a bit low down, though I do remember, well, what I'm going to do is, because the shipyard is going to be here, and we're not going to have tubes going upwards or tubes going, well, if someone's in this dock and they want to go in or out of the ships, they need to be able to get there. So we're also going to have airlocks and tubes across into the ship of choice, if that makes sense. Similar to this. Which means we're also going to have to, well, if I outline the shape of what the next bit is going to be. So, there's basically going to be a kind of curve section here. Yeah, curve section. Which basically will contain another airlock section. The airlocks will go across into the large ship. Maybe we'll have them go down to here, the curve sections. Or maybe they will be the full section of the station. But the innards will be shipyard, and by shipyard I mean the shipyard blocks which are not in my hotbar. These things. What is this called? Ship. Ah, large ship railgun. Okay. As in these shipyard blocks, which are massive welders. As I've said before, we will get to building it later. That's how big one section is, and then on that side is where it welds. But it needs power, and it needs to be turned on. Other than that, that's good. Okay, so Next things to do for habitation would be we need to cap off the ends, and I think over this way is a good example of how to do that. I was working on it earlier and then just went, no, the maths is a bit wrong, I'll do it later. But basically we're going to shrink everything down to a kind of square thing in the middle, or a plus sign maybe, on both sides. So that gives us extra space for our habitation and everything else, which is very good. So all that's left for me to do now for this habitation area is either complete the grav tubes, set out all the grav tubes in all the hangars, or I could use teleporters instead, which might be a better idea. Teleporters would allow you to go to a GPS waypoint, and I can hide all the GPS waypoints because I'm good like that. However, if we mobilize the station, then the teleporters won't work. Unless they can do relative teleportation, but I don't think they can. They do they do relative teleportation relative to the origin of the map, instead of relative to them themselves. Which is not the best, but anyway. So the grav tubes or teleporters, and then I need to copy and paste airlocks everywhere, or maybe not everywhere, like 3 more times, and then build walls, cap off the ends, and then we can start moving all of our machinery in. And I'm going to move the mining base because it's kind of non-funked right now. We're going to move everything that I built at the mining base over onto the station so that this station can be used as a base. An actual base rather than just a massive floating metal grid. Which essentially, this is what it is. It's basically a massive Hulk. Yes. So, until then, my name has been Zero Jake. End transmission.